Sup, y'all? It's me. It's your boy Asmongold, and today I want to talk to you all about official Blizzard Legacy servers. Now, guys, that is something that I thought that I would not say in the next 5, probably more likely 10 years. But here we are. Blizzard announced vanilla servers alongside their new expansion, Battle for Azeroth. And guys, I have to talk about this. This is something that I've been wanting, something that I've been pushing, something that I've been advocating for over 2 years. And here we are. All of those efforts have been realized and our voices have been heard. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you so much for doing this, and thank you Blizzard for making this happen. And this would not be possible without every single person in this community pushing for it, advocating for it, asking for it, and here it is. Thank you guys all so much. And I want to talk to you all about what I think the official Legacy servers are going to look like, what I think is going to change, what I think is going to stay the same, and everything else in between. Now, I'm not really going to talk a whole lot about the new expansion right now. I'm very excited for that too, but I want to focus entirely on the Legacy server stuff because that's one of the main things that I've wanted for a very long time, as you guys know. Now, one thing that you might not know is that I knew about this ahead of time. We were told ahead of time all of the new things that were going to happen in the expansion, including the Legacy server announcement. Now, whenever I was told this, I was sitting in the hotel room in the corner, and whenever I heard, like, oh yeah, they're also, and he like, so it was like kind of saving the best for last. And he's like, yeah, well, they're also, gonna announce classic servers. And I'm like, I literally fucking got out of I was actually sitting in like a sofa chair thing. I got out of my chair and I ran around the hotel lobby so fucking fast, like just flipping out. I was so excited. I was so happy. And it was the last thing that I could have expected. And I am just absolutely ecstatic about it. It made the entire trip worth it so much more. So guys, I don't really know what to say. But here's what I think is going to happen. The official Legacy servers are probably not going to come out until 2019. I don't think that the official Legacy servers are going to be released until we're probably a little bit more than halfway through with Battle for Azeroth, the expansion, and it might be probably like somewhere around there. And they're probably going to release them in between a raid tier to kind of even out a lull in content. Usually at the end of an expansion, there's a big gap between the last raid tier and the next expansion. That is where I would expect to see Legacy servers come in. Now, whenever Legacy servers are implemented, obviously they kind of discuss some things with me, and I'm not entirely sure what I'm not supposed to say, so I'm just not going to say any of it, but I am going to talk to you guys about what I would really like to see. Number one is I don't want to see any changes. I don't want to see any quality of life changes. I don't want to see, obviously, a group finder. I don't want to see new models. I don't want to see balancing changes. The only changes that I would like to see, and guys, here's how far to that degree that I'm at. Like, you guys remember the bug where, like, your character would be, like, kneeling down and, like, looting, and, like, you looted something 5 minutes ago, but you're still kneeling down trying to loot it? I would rather that be in the game than not, okay? That's how far to the essential classic vanilla experience that I want to be, right? And I know that might be a little bit silly to some people, and I understand that, but I feel like whenever you start picking and choosing what elements of the old game that you want to have, it creates a slippery slope of adding in new context, adding in new content, adding in these little changes, and slowly but surely you're diluting that initial experience and what made it so special. So I don't really want to see any changes. There are a few caveats to that. Obviously, there are things like duping. There are things like just exploits that crash the servers. And generally, as long as something is not game-breaking, I would like to see it be in the Legacy servers. I don't want to see any sort of change at all. I mean, really, I wouldn't even want to see a BattleNet integration, right, with friends lists. I'd want to see, like, actual individual friends lists, just the same that we had in 2006. I'd like to be able to play the game in the exact same facility that I played it in 2006, and for some other people, 2005, 2004. Now, the next question that a lot of people have is that whenever the official Legacy servers are released, are they going to start And are they going to be released with Naxxramas active and basically all of the content available on day one? My personal opinion is that no, they will probably not be. If they do that, I feel like it will be a very, very short experience, and I feel like they could stagger out the content for legacy servers and build up the hype for them more by staggering out the different raids throughout the year or two in which they would be released on a normal schedule, right? So the game would come out, you'd have Onyxia's Lair, you'd have Molten Core, maybe later on they'd bring out BWL, and I think then there's ZG after that, or AQ. I forgot the specific release schedule from back then, and then maybe release Naxxramas a little bit later on. Now, a number of people have been very concerned about the longevity of legacy servers, and I think that about 80 to 90% of people that start playing on legacy servers are probably going to quit. Now, you might think that, well, I thought you liked legacy servers. Doesn't that mean that, like, they're going to fail? Well, not necessarily. If you have, let's say, 10 million people that start on the server, and I wouldn't be surprised if there were that many. Honestly, I mean, this game, World of Warcraft has an audience of people, literally hundreds of millions of people have played World of Warcraft in probably the past 10 years. I'm sure that they'd probably have at least 10 million people that would try it out in the first year, right? Especially with how much hype was behind it. So I'm not really going to be that surprised if a whole lot of people quit. And even with all of the people that quit, I still think that there will be distilled out of that a very, very healthy server population. And there will still be a lot of people playing legacy servers for a very, very long period of time. You might think that, oh yeah, you're just going to go through all the content. It's like, oh yeah, you're just going to go through all of level 60 and progress through all of the raids and do Nax in a month. It's like, that's probably not going to happen, right? So, especially if they stagger out the releases. So what I'm trying to say is that obviously a lot of people that are going to start playing Legacy are going to quit. There's going to be people that are going to start playing it for the nostalgia, be like, wow, this game sucked, I don't like this game anymore, I'm going to go play Battle for Azeroth. That's totally fine, that's great. But there are going to be some other people that are able to come back and they're going to be able to experience that same game that I experienced, that a lot of other people experience too, they're watching this, and they're going to love it. And the one thing that I can hope for more than anything is that people that are 16 now, which is like the age that I was whenever I started playing, and they need some sort of a confidence boost, they need some sort of an environment where they can succeed in. I really hope legacy servers can provide that in the same way that it provided that for me and for a lot of other people. I think that that's one of the big reasons why so many of those people are playing the game today, and so many people remember the vanilla memories so fondly. Obviously, a lot of it's nostalgia. I think that that's going to wear off very soon, and that's where I'm talking about the 80%. But whenever you're talking about millions, still 80% could still be 20% of that, could still be millions. Now, the next question is that, are they going to be adding a Burning Crusade server afterwards? Now, I would not be surprised if the Legacy server did well, they're of course going to probably make a Burning Crusade server. Whenever they make a Burning Crusade server, are they going to let people just progress onto that? A perfect world, in my mind, would be as soon as they release the Burning Crusade server, they would re-release another vanilla server so people could progress through vanilla and do all of that. So there are always progressions, and every single time a new server is released, the other ones are reset in a way. So every single time, like let's say they do it all the way up in Wrath of the Lich King, they bring out the Wrath server, there's a new BC server, and there's also a new vanilla server. And so they kind of just stagger around and they just rotate back and forth with maybe a holding server for players at like level 80 or something like that. That's, in my opinion, an ideal solution for at least for me. So the way that I'm kind of expecting that to happen is for the legacy servers to kind of be in between expansions. So if they're going to release the vanilla legacy server in the middle or towards the end of Battle for Azeroth, they're going to release the Burning Crusade legacy server, assuming the vanilla one does well, maybe towards the middle or the end of the expansion after Battle for Azeroth. And I think that's a pretty safe assumption to make, and that would be what I would like to see, and I think that would be the smartest thing. That way, it could give players extra things to do, which also leads me into something else that I want to talk about, which is how are people going to access legacy servers? I think that the best solution is to bundle legacy servers with the current WoW subscription, and that would allow players to kind of, it's like cross marketing, right? You have some players that come in to play legacy servers, and maybe there's somebody who hasn't played WoW in 10 years, and they buy a sub and they buy the game to play legacy again, and they do, and they enjoy it, but then they check out maybe Battle for Azeroth and they're like, yeah, I really like this too. And vice versa, you're going to have people from Battle for Azeroth that stay subscribed because they can play legacy servers. I feel like this is going to be an overall huge positive for the game, and I'm really thinking that, I mean, assuming like, unless like Battle for Azeroth is like terrible or something like that, I really think that whenever they announce legacy servers and they release them, I mean, that we're going to see the highest subscription numbers of all time. I really do think that, because you're going to see probably millions of people coming back to the game to play legacy servers, and even if it's only for a month or two, that on top of the new expansion, and if they're able to retain players in the same way that it seems like Legion is retaining players, which is better than WoD and Mists of Pandaria, I really think that it's probably going to be better than we even saw in Wrath of the Lich King. That doesn't mean necessarily the game will be in a better state or anything like that, but whenever you combine those two audiences, I think that we're going to see something amazing. And I cannot wait to show you guys. I cannot wait to create content about legacy servers, and this has just gotten me so hyped up for the game. I love the idea of Battle for Azeroth. I love the idea of warring factions and getting back to the roots of World of Warcraft, and that coupled with legacy vanilla WoW servers, I mean, what a fucking BlizzCon to be at for my first one. I was so excited. I'm honestly still in shock. I honestly thought I was getting trolled whenever they told me that, and I really kind of thought I was still until they literally showed it on the screen. So guys, that's the way that I feel. I don't want to see any real changes. I don't want to see new character models. I don't want to see anything new in the legacy servers. I want to see it be entirely a crystallized version of what we saw. I would like to see balancing patches be applied in the same way that they were in the old game, and I would also like to see content be released in the same time schedule as the old game, maybe slightly accelerated, because some people obviously are, I mean, like, people know everything right now. I mean, like, you got people like literally who it's their job to help people understand the game. In 2006 and everything, it wasn't the case. So we're living in a different gaming world nowadays, but I do feel like the adventure and the RPG and the MMO elements that vanilla brought are still going to be absolutely just as relevant as they were in 2006 today. And I feel like there's nothing that can replace that, and that's why I'm so excited for legacy servers. So again, guys, I'd like to thank everybody who made this possible. I've made videos about this, I've complained about this, and so have you. There have been hundreds, thousands, millions of all of you that have put your voices together, and our voices have been heard. Like, I can't even believe it. I really can't. It's fucking incredible. Thank you guys all so much. We all did this together. Congratulations. This is fucking awesome. I really hope that Blizzard implements it in the right way. And with everything else that they're doing, I think that they will. So anyway, I'd like to hear your opinions, your thoughts, and how you feel about legacy servers. What do you want to see changed? What do you want to see stay the same? Etc. Let me know. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I've got. So thank you very much for watching, and like, comment, and subscribe.